Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Who are you? This is your host, Dr. Leah from Germany, near Frankfurt. And I'm so glad it's the Thursday once again. And we are having our guest from Minnesota. And I'm so glad today the weather, it's cold. It's normal. It's autumn. We're getting there. So we love it. We can use everything. We can cover ourselves. We can cuddle. We can drink a lot of tea. We can do everything. So welcome again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell us where you're watching from when you come in. Give us a shout out. We want to know who you are, where you're watching from, what is your takeaway point during the show, etc. And we will be very, very happy to see your feedback. So like I say, today we are having a guest from Minnesota. She will be talking to us about who she is. And so I will not take a lot of time because I don't like to take people's introduction. I just love to set the mood, and then they can come up and tell us who they are, what they do, why they do what they do, because the show is about impacting people, encouraging people, and empowering people to be the best version of who they are, because we all start from somewhere. And many of these stories are to empower us. Many of these stories are to help us to see that we are all on a journey. We are going on a journey, and we can take our journey from wherever we are at, and we can make the best out of it. And so looking forward to this conversation, because it's going to be a totally different direction, but still it's going to be powerful, because I have already met the lady and she is great. We've had a great laugh at the back office, so know that it will be fun. And I will just bring her up. Hey,
Hello.
how are you? How are you? How are you? How is everything? Welcome to my show. Who are you? I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you already made my day exciting, even though mine is ending and yours has just started.
Oh, it's so true. It's so crazy doing time zones. I am so excited to be here. I am Dr. Melissa MacDonald. I am a sports chiropractor in the Twin Cities, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. So buckle up. It's going to be exciting, maybe.
I mean, I love the energy when, the people have the energy and so excited. And, it doesn't matter how you come in, whether you're late, you're early, but, just the energy that you bring with yourself is what really creates the show. It was really makes people pay attention and want to hear more, because it gives a different direction, a different perspective, a different attitude, and a different mindset. And that's why I'm really so glad to meet you. I'm glad that you came up, and I'm so glad that you brought a totally different energy to the show. So, not to take a lot of your time, Melissa, tell us who you are and what you do and why you do what you do.
Oh, what a can of worms you have just opened. So, I'm a sports chiropractor, and that is what I do and what I live for. I knew growing up that I wanted to get into the medical field to help people, and I just didn't know how I wanted to do it. I grew up with a very severe learning disability. I'm highly affected by dyslexia, so don't ask me to spell anything. It's not going to go well. But that's why there's spell check, so I'm fine. And that really put me into a challenging space during school. It was always a lot of hard work. So why would I want to go get a medical degree where I'm going to be in school for another 8 years? But it was just, I needed to help people, and I didn't know how. So growing up, I thought, oh, I'm going to be a surgeon. Why? I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy. But then as I started, it's got to go back to the Greys. But as I started to kind of work with shadow doctors, see what it really meant to be a surgeon, I didn't like it. It wasn't as sexy as portrayed on TV. And there were so many times that you physically just couldn't even help the person. So then you just had to pass them on. And there wasn't that human to human connection. And I wanted that. So I started to look at some other options. And that's when I fell on chiropractic. Because at least in the United States, our healthcare system and our insurance system is less than idyllic. It's really challenging. If you don't have health insurance, you sometimes can't access the healthcare you need. And the health insurance determines what you can and can't have.
Mm.
But as a chiropractor, I can operate outside the insurance system and just do what my patients need to get them better faster, which is all I want. As I was going through school, I realized I really like working in the athletic realm. Now, I see everyone as an athlete. That means Nana Papa, when they're going to play with the grandkids, their sport is keeping up with the grandkids. If you have mom that just had a baby, her sport, taking care of the infant and making sure that they have all their needs and that they're taken care of so they can heal and be the best mother possible. So I'm not, but then I do also take care of my football, my hockey, my soccer. So American football versus football. Oh, so it's just, I want people to have control of their body. I want them to understand what's going on and to know that just because it hurts right now doesn't mean it's going to hurt forever and that this is the new normal. We just need to change, modify, give exercises, maybe add in some other things like, hey, maybe you need to see a massage therapist. Maybe you need to see an acupuncturist, and working together just to do what you need to do to be functional, because that's what we want as people. We want to be out and about, living, going, and people are doing that longer and longer. And let's just keep them doing that with the least amount of invasive care. So I love that I don't have access to medication. I love that I don't have that crutch. All I have are my hands.
Awesome. And, I just love where you said, because I know, medicine is sometimes it is a profession that a lot of people run away from, and a bit of people love it. It has different facets, and like you wanted to be a surgeon, there was something that you saw that just didn't appeal to you. But why chiropractic? I mean, and what is it? First, before you even tell us why chiropractic, what is chiropractic? I know there are people who know it, mostly people from the state, because they relate with it. I asked because for me, I also learned about chiropractic when I think it was 3-4 years ago. I never knew something like that existed. So what is it and how does it work?
Ooh, those are some hard questions. Little hard. So chiropractic's a fairly young profession in the grand scheme of medical professions. It was founded in the early 1900s here in the United States, and it has spread worldwide. And what it does is it helps the body function. So we find where the body isn't moving as well. Maybe it's your shoulder, maybe it's your knee, maybe it's your back. And it was predominantly focused on the spine. And then we use our hands to apply a force that then helps the joint move, sometimes creating a popping sound. So similar to when someone cracks their knuckles. We can do that basically in any joint in the body, and that helps create movement. Now, there are many philosophies, many styles of practice, many techniques within chiropractic. It is truly an art form of the medical field. For me personally, I like to be diversified. I like to pick and choose from different techniques and kind of form my own method that I have found that works best with people. Because I don't want to be just a cookie cutter. You come in, this is what you get. I talk to them. I find out if they've seen someone in the past, what's worked, what's not worked. And then I customize their care to them, whether that be, okay, I like to be adjusted where I just lay on my tummy and the table comes up and there's a loud dropping noise. Another person might like to be put into their side and turned into kind of a pretzel and be mobilized that way. Whatever kind of works for their body is how we're going to do the specific chiropractic. Then, once I've adjusted you, once I've got you moving, I like to add home exercises and home rehab so that we can create efficacy within yourself. So, hey, you can absolutely come to me forever to manage this, but I want to give the power back to you. So if you're having low back pain, let's figure out what the root cause of that. Is it because your pelvic floor, due to having children, isn't engaging any longer. And we just need to activate that. And that helps restabilize the low back, and your low back pain goes away. Mm-hmm. Is it because for so long we've been told, oh, hold your stomach in, look skinny, hold your stomach in, look skinny, and now you're just breathing into your chest and you're not actually using your diaphragm, so your core isn't working, and that's what's causing your low back pain. Or maybe because of a pandemic, you've been working from home and you've been slouching and trying to read your computer screen, and now you're having neck pain. So maybe we need to do some chin tucking, some stretching. Maybe we need to look at the ergonomics of your workstation just to make it work a little better so that you can function at the highest level without having pain and dysfunction.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is awesome. That is it's such a broad, yes, because many people don't know what it is. And like you said, it started in the States. And if you're not so well acquainted, because I think it is different from the acupunctures and everything, because the acupunctures, you use the needles to, spot the areas so that they are kind of releasing the blockages. And that is just a needle. But for a chiropractor, they use their hands to, to force that pressure into that particular place. And it is because, and you've explained a lot of, things that chiropractic do, because for me, I only knew it for the back, because I had a friend who had a back issue, and they were the first to talk about the chiropractic thing. And I was like, wow, so there is something like that, And so you have given us a whole different aspect for the neck, for the back, for the joints, for the whole body. And it's very interesting how you're formulating a certain, design that is fitting for every individual client that you work with. Tell us, how did you come to chiropractic?
So I came to chiropractic. My mom is actually a physical therapist, or a physiotherapist. And so I had always grown up with what she was able to do with her rehab and working with her patients. And when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, she was like, okay, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think medical school's right. I don't think PT school's right, because I wanted to have that autonomy to just do my own thing. I'm a bit of a controlling person. I don't like to be told what to do. I like to be in charge. And she's like, you know what? When I was a physical therapist practicing and we would have patients come with a low back, we'd refer them to a chiropractor. You should look into chiropractic school. So I started doing my research, and there are 14 schools within the United States, one in Canada, a couple in Australia, a couple in the UK. So they are cropping up, and a couple in South America and a couple in Africa. And I started looking at what type of school I wanted to go to. And I definitely wanted to have evidence-based. I wanted them to use current research, current skills to make sure that I'm providing the highest care possible, because again, chiropractic is an art form. There are many different styles and flavors, and there are some that are much more traditional, old school chiropractic, relying on the historical philosophy, versus those who are doing the evidence-based, following the rehab, doing the exercises, and kind of mixing things together to get their patients better. So I wanted to make sure I stayed towards that evidence-based programming, which is how I ended up in Minnesota. There is a chiropractic school here, Northwestern Health Sciences University. Went there, did my 3 years, did a 2-year sports fellowship, because I felt like after graduating 3 years of continuous school, we didn't even have a summer break. We just went year round. Wow. It was intense. I was like, you know what? I think I need to fine tune and just refine my skills. So I ended up doing a 2-year residency in sports care and management, where I had an emphasis on high performance female athletes. So I worked with a professional women's football team, and I worked with a Australian rules women's team. And through that, I learned the injury and injury prevention that are specific to a female athlete and how to utilize our hormones that we always just kind of like, oh, hormones, menstrual cycle, oh. But really, they're our powerhouse of how we can develop and achieve the highest possible competitive nature. So it was learning how to kind of manipulate those to best benefit my athletes, and then finished my fellowship, opened up my own clinic, hung my shingle on the wall, and have been running around like a crazy person ever since.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. We are going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion with Dr. Mark. We are going to know what does Mark stand for, because there is a meaning out of it. And we want to know how she came with this design for herself, with this mark as hers for herself, what she defined it and what exactly it means. So stay tuned. We will be back in 1 minute. Hello, so welcome back to our show, Who Are You? I am your host, Dr. Leah, and today our guest is Dr. Mark. She is from Minnesota. She's a chiropractor, and she is really doing great things as a chiropractor. She's even invented her own called Mobility Agility Chiropractica, and that is where we are going to pick our discussion from. She'll tell us why or what the name Mobility Agility Chiropractica is and why. How did you come to that?
Ooh, so I decided to go with the name Mobility Agility Chiropractic because it's pretty simple. It was my nickname all through school. So my last name is MacDonald. It is my married name, but my original name was McCranny. So it has always been Mac, has been what my nickname has been since I was little. So when I was looking at my clinic, I was like, okay, I want to call this clinic Mac Performance because I want to guide people to their highest level of performance. But in the States, there is a large motorcycle engine company called Mac Performance. So I needed to come up with a way to utilize my name and come up with that acronym. So Mobility Agility, I'm about getting people moving, I'm about keeping people agile, and I use chiropractic care to meet their performance. So Mobility Agility Chiropractic Performance, Mac Performance, that is how I came up with my name.
Wow, awesome, awesome. So Dr. Mark, tell us, I know you've met all sorts of different problems with people's body, and you've been working with them. You've really helped a lot of people out there, but walk us through one particular moment where somebody came in and you looked at the situation and you thought, wow, this is fragile, but how are we going to work this out that it will be something that when I look at, I would say, yes, this is why I am in this right profession, or this is why I really love to do chiropractic?
Oh, I mean, I've had many patients where I'm just like, wow, I had no idea that was going to work that well. But probably the condition that I feel I am able to help the most amount of people with is when they're recovering from a concussion.
Okay.
So concussions have been made to be very scary. in at least our media. And when it comes to sports participation and the possible long-term effects and outcomes for just sustaining one. And people come in and they're terrified. They're just terrified. Oh my gosh, I'm going to end up with this CTE, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is a really big word that sounds really, really scary. And yes, it has some really bad long-term effects. But the thing with concussion is that, one, we don't really understand the brain very well, medical in general. The brain is this elusive creature that we are every year getting closer and closer to truly understanding the nuances of how the neurology and how all of these different connections make us as a human, make us as not only a flesh body, but how we have different personalities, how we're able to convey and emote different ways. And when someone has a concussion, not only is their head banged up, but their neck is affected. And when I'm able to work with them and at least take away any effect that their neck is contributing, we can reduce symptoms. When they're not having the headaches, when they're not having the neck pain, we're able to focus in and determine how much of the concussion is actually affecting how tired they are, their lack of focus. Then we combine in appropriate nutrition to reduce the inflammation and do a return, either a return to play, a return to learn, or a return to work, or some combination of the three for whatever is best going to get them back fastest with the least amount of disability possible. And so working with concussion is where I feel I have a huge effect on my patients' overall recovery and overall well-being.
Oh, wow. Interesting. And, I just love how you've defined, how you're working with your patient and, the whole aspect about the mind and, and you just tapped on something about how also nutrition affects the mind. Tell us a little bit of what you mean about nutrition, because, nutrition also has been something that, people discuss, diet or this food is not. And so tell us a little bit, how does it affect the mind?
So there are many things. One, I don't subscribe to any one specific diet because historically, what we ate in the past is so different from what we eat now. And we have to look back generations because some people process dairy very well and we don't need to remove it. Other people process gluten really well and we don't need to remove it. But vice versa, those inflammatory types of foods may not be good for your body and may need to be taken out. So whatever makes you as a person feel best, have the most amount of energy, be able to sleep, be able to manage your weight, be able to manage all the aspects of your life, that's going to be the correct nutrition system. I don't subscribe to diets. Like if you're going to be like, oh, I'm going on the cabbage soup diet, I'm going on the South Beach diet, those aren't sustainable. So ultimately you might lose 20 pounds very quickly. But the minute you come off of it, it's all coming back on. So we need to stop looking at like short-term quick fixes and look at lifestyle nutritions that are sustainable and livable for each individual person.
Wow. Awesome. That is, very well explained because, there's a lot of things out there, but I think sometimes also it is good when we get some more information directly from, especially, people who are practicing medicine because they understand how the body functions and what is really, what is all about, the intakes that we take in and how best they can advise what really is affecting our mind, affecting our bodies, affecting, the whole structure of a human being. So give us 3 best advice, especially for people who are now more working from home because of the pandemic and they're sitting because you only have the space of your house maybe to walk from your sitting room to your bedroom or to the kitchen to the toilet and back, and it's kind of a half a minute walk rather than a 1 minute walk.
Yes.
How best they can move themselves, and especially the sitting position and etc. because of the neck or the shoulder parts.
Ooh, so first, my tip to basically everyone and anything, make sure you drink water.
Mm-hmm.
You have to drink your water. And when we're at home, it's so easy to forget because we have access to everything. So instead of grabbing our water, we go grab a snack because we confuse hunger and thirst. Oh, I have a rumbly in my tummy instead of grabbing the water because we're like, oh, I can just grab an apple. I can just grab some chips. I can just try the water first because you might actually just be thirsty. Now, it is much different because depending upon the size of where you're living, I'm recommending my patients at least every 2-3 hours take a 15-minute break and actually go walk outside your building. Just do a loop around your building if it's a possibility. Now, I recognize in Minnesota, our ability to comfortably circle our building is ending. I'm sure it is also weather-wise becoming less inclement in your area as well. So that might not be an option. So do some small area exercise.
Mm-hmm.
As much as some people don't like it, I say do yoga. One, it helps your flexibility, it helps your mobility, it helps your strength.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a fan of that, try to do some squats, planks, push-ups. Those types of exercises,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can always add weights to them, but they also can be done just fine with your body weight, and they don't take a lot of space. So a lot of times when we're like, oh, I can't go out, I can't work out, the limitation is our imagination for what we can do within our own space. So drink water, keep moving. Next, look at your setup. A lot of us are working from our laptops. And when we're working from our laptops, the screen is not at an ideal height for our eyes to keyboard. So either we're up with our screen up, typing like this, or we're down and we're hunching down. So get a Bluetooth keyboard or a cabled keyboard so you can lift the screen up, have the keyboard down below. That inherently is going to help you sit up taller and have a better posture. It's going to alleviate a lot of probably the neck pain people are having at the end of the day, some tension, headaches, just by switching up your ergonomics just a little bit.
Wow, awesome. Those are great points. Those are great information. Those are great tips for many people who are, they were just caught up and have to work from home and they've never worked from home, and they can be able to, catch up with all that. Because I totally agree with you. I'm somebody who I rarely grab water. I grab the black thing, the coffee.
No shade thrown. I love coffee, but I do have to limit myself. It's like, okay, I want the coffee, must drink water first.
So I have to begin to learn, am I thirsty for coffee or am I thirsty for water? So I have to squeeze in water for myself so that I can continue to keep that. And and then also, I just love the way you said, take the 15 minutes break walk or do some, form of sports within your space, because like now we have a lot of activities that we don't need to go to the gym. We don't need the weights. You can just do it with your body. And it's so simple, small things. You can check them out on YouTube. People have posted a lot there where you can just take and they have exactly 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So you can take as much as you want and you can form a habit of just doing some small exercises. So thank you so much for sharing with us all that. Thank you for sharing with us what chiropractic is and how it is beneficial for us and beneficial for a lot of people, especially if you don't have a healthcare or form of to go to the hospitals or wherever. You have something that you can use without any medicine, and it is just very, very will be very specialized just for you and for your space. So thank you so much. Tell us how people can contact you if they want to get in contact with you, if they want to work with you, if they want to get to understand a little bit more about the chiropractic.
Absolutely. So I have an Instagram page, MacP_clinic. I post there regularly with content. I also have a website, macperformanceclinic.com. And then, just in case you want to hear me more, I have a podcast called Mac Performance Podcast. I post weekly. It will whiplash you back into health as we topic jump all over the place, covering everything from one, what is chiropractic, to, because I had to cover my pet project, different nutrition topics, talking about getting rid of the dad bod. I have someone coming in and talking about personal finance. I have an episode coming up on how to build a home gym. I wanted to make sure that it was a content-rich repository for you to get help staying active and being healthy.
Awesome. So thank you so much. And also there is a short version to linktree.ee/Mac. And when you go there also, you will find all the links to get Melissa, her blog, and everything is all under this one link. And you can be able to see everything that Melissa is doing, and you will be able to get in contact with her, and you can get a lot of tips on her podcast. So thank you so much, Melissa, for being with us today. Thank you also for the great show that you've done today. I am so happy and I'm so glad that I met you. I'm so glad that you came. So we are looking forward to next week. Next week we have a great show. We have a special Monday for a special show. We will be having a great gentleman who will be speaking to us about men things. So it will be awesome to have you all just get your notebooks, get everything that you need. Go back and watch replays because it's important to learn a lot of things right now that we are in lockdown. Wherever you are, you can learn a lot right now that you can carry forward. You can be taking notes. You can be keeping it and planning well for your next, level of life. We don't know what 2021 is bringing, but now we are just learning that we can be able to implement, and we are robust. No matter what comes, even in 2021, we can be able to move forward no matter what, because we have learned from 2020 that even with the lockdown, life is moving on and we are all thriving. So thank you so much. Until next week, this is your host, Dr. Leah, and our guest, Dr. Mark. We say, stay healthy.
Thank you. Stay healthy, everyone.
Yeah.